Shayna Garcia, IFB Bikini Pro, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And of course, we're here at Cult Fitness today. First, I want to apologize that I have not uploaded for 2 weeks. We've been so consistent with our videos, but in the last couple of weeks, I have been dealing with a really bad allergy. So 2 weeks ago, I woke up and I had hives all over me and I had no clue what was happening. I already get bad hay fever and it is allergy season, but I had never hived up like that before. It was all over my body, including like my face. So I quickly went to emergency and then we found out that I was allergic to something, but I couldn't really pinpoint what it was. So I did get some testing done and we're still waiting for that, but I had to stay at home, take some antihistamines and just relax for a little bit because anything to do with heat, training and pumping my blood flow was actually making it worse. So when I stayed home, I was still on top of my goals because as you guys know, I have started prep and I started prep about 3 weeks ago now. So in the second week of prep, basically, I already had dealing with something. I was dealing with something and that was really challenging because I was like, I just started prep, but I don't have the loser mentality. I'm like, okay, when you're in prep, it's not about it being smooth. You got to work your way. Sorry, my gum. I just asked Mario, should I spit this gum out? Now I'm like, I'm gonna choke on this, damn. So during the second week, I was like, damn, like I just started prep last week. Now, sometimes when people are in the middle of prep or if they just started prep, they think it's not the right time because I'm going through something. But I knew something like the allergy that I had, I was like, okay, this isn't stopping me from activity. It's just that I need to chill out for a little bit until I find out what's actually wrong. But so far, like, you know, I was still able to eat. I was still able to move around. I still felt physically good. I just had rashes all over my body. So I said, you know what? I'm still capable. I just have to find a way to work around this for this week until I get back in action. So I didn't train fully for nearly 3 days. On the third day, I actually went back and did cardio because I needed to test out the heat of my body if the rashes would come back up. But luckily, it was settling. And then after that, I got back into the weight session on day 4. But I didn't go back into full intensity either. I took my time with everything. I was very patient. I started off with lower intensity and I slowly brought that back up. Now, when you have time off, it is important to bring the intensity back slowly because if you go right back into it like 100%, you may risk injuries. So I just took my time and I just went with my body's flow, handled what I could, and then now we're back in full swing. So we are now week 3 of prep and we're so far feeling better, still waiting for the test to come back, but we'll find out and I'll keep you guys posted. But that is the reason why I have been absent. I want to thank everyone for those that have just recently followed me from the recent collaboration that I did with Jared Feather. I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed that session. And for the people that have followed me and subscribed, thank you so much because I want to bring more videos to you guys now. And our goal is to grow this channel, to bring more knowledge and more booty gains. And we know you guys love the booty gains. So today, of course, we are going to train booty, but we're going to take on some of the notes such as the knee valgus in our movements today. I'm only gonna do 3 movements. To start, I'm gonna warm up with the booty band, and then we're gonna do our hip thrusters, we're gonna do unilateral stiff-legged deadlifts, and then we're gonna finish off with some sumo squats on the Smith's machine. But it's the 3 movements alone are gonna be enough for today because they are very big movements. But thank you guys so much for waiting and your patience because now we're back in full swing. Guys, today I actually brought my wrist wraps. So we're gonna use my wrist wraps when we're doing the unilateral training. So these are by Versa Grips. They are absolutely amazing and so easy to use. This is non-sponsored, by the way. I'm just letting you guys know it's just as simple as wrapping around your wrist and then you could just go straight into your workout. Because I hate the ones where you have to like play around so much, you know, and then it's like you're burning in that session when you're just wrist wrapping. So I've got a very light band at the moment. I don't need a heavy band. Some people, ego band, but like we're just warming up. So lately I have been just warming up before every glute session now. And by the time I get into my session, I just feel it all. If you're struggling with muscle-mind connection, this is definitely the way to go. So while I'm doing this right now, guys, today we're gonna talk about why your glutes may be dropping so fast during a deficit. Now, when I first walked in here, Mario actually just told me, he's like, your glutes have improved so much, but I've actually dropped close to 2.5 kilos in the last 3 weeks because we've started our deficit. What I've noticed so far with myself, and I know I've built solid tissue, is because I've still held my glutes. Now for those that say my glutes drop so fast as soon as I start a cut, that's majority fat. When you build solid muscle tissue on your glutes, they don't drop that fast, because when you're in a deficit, the goal is to preserve as much muscle mass as possible, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. My goal is to keep my waist tiny, keep my shoulders swole, and keep my glutes gluting. Now, the difference with this time around for this cut is I know I have put in the efforts for my glutes. I've put on some solid muscle tissue in my growth phase, and I really took the time and patience for growth. Never rush growth. When it comes to competing especially, if the judges have said you need to work on something, work on your weaknesses, take that time to work on those weaknesses, put in that time for growth, because you will be so thankful by the time you get into prep. Right now, like, I know my body's in a complete body different composition right now. So I started this cut off with 53.6 kilos. And this morning I woke up at 51 kilos. But that's what I've achieved in 3 weeks. And even with that week down that I had when I had my allergies, I was still achieving and getting leaner because I was still on top of my steps when I was at home. I have a walk pad at home, and I was still on top of my diet too. I didn't just go, oh, well, now I'm not feeling well, I'm sitting at home, I'm just gonna eat whatever I want. No, I stuck to plan the whole time. I still checked in as per usual, even when I had my rashes. Everything was pretty much still prepping. I just had to stay home for a little bit. So when you are in prep, guys, like, it's super important to be able to work around events when it happens, you know? Because there's no prep that's going to be smooth. All preps are always gonna be challenging. I'm not gonna let it take over. We're gonna try our best to work around everything. All right, so let's start off with unilateral training. I wanna start off with the, we'll do dumbbells because we're always using the barbell and the Smith machine all the time for our stiff-legged deadlifts. So we're gonna use dumbbells today. So when you're doing unilateral training, guys, remember you could always reduce the load because you are only loading on one side. So for this, for both legs, it's very, very light, but for one, I do know it's gonna get a good enough pump. So at the moment, I am on about 3.5 liters of water a day. We are doing 10K steps a day. This is also including my intentional cardio, which is 30 minutes of Stairmaster 6 times a week. Now remember, when it comes to programming, steps, cardio, and when it comes to the intensity and load, it's different for every person, but this is what I'm doing at the moment. Now my setup for this prep is also completely different. Like this time around, my last prep, I was already on like 15 minutes of cardio, 6 days a week. So right now it's been really nice to just do the 30 and my body's already dropping and it's trending really well. But this is also what happens when you set yourself up for a very good improvement season. When you are growing and you set yourself up for a better plan and routine, by the time you get into prep, you are gonna find it, I can never say it's easy because prep is not easy, right? It's a lot of discipline, it's still a lot of work, but you set yourself up in a better position that you can do less when it comes to like the cardio side of things. Intensity is something that I always push, but I have noticed with my cardio sessions over the years, they have become less and less because I've been improving my body composition in terms of fat and muscle. So my muscle mass has increased and my body fat has decreased during my off season. So when I'm growing now, my definition is also a lot better. All right, so for this one, to bring more glute in, like we mentioned in our most recent collaboration video with Jared, when we are on our way down, we're pushing our knees out still when we get to the bottom to bring more glutes in. Now we are emphasizing hamstrings in this, but we are still going to bring our glutes in. It's still gonna be the same rule when we're on a single leg, okay? Still treat it like you're doing both. So for the single leg, I usually put my toe just about where my heel is and I come down from there. I'm gonna hold the dumbbells in a slant position so that it's not just straight, but I find it more comfortable when I hold it in a slant position. All right, so we're gonna start with the right leg. I'm gonna have the left leg behind, and I'm gonna I'm gonna be in this V position with the dumbbells, and it's just gonna be directly in front of me. So I'm pushing back and upwards, pushing knees back, the knees are still slightly bent, pushing knees out, and I'm coming up and squeezing that glute. I'm just doing a slight pause at the bottom so I can push that knee out, really bring that glute in. All right, so we're gonna swap sides. Feeling that already. Whew. Oh, okay. I really felt that in the booty too, guys, because first cue, pushing knees out. Another thing is also warming up beforehand. Some people are against bands. I love the bands because when you want to refresh in your mind with muscle-mind connection, the bands are the best way to go because you know exactly where to feel by the time you come into the movements like this. But muscle-mind connection right now is 100. So I'm going to increase in weight. Today we are doing 3 sets of in between 8 to 12. So I'm going to try to go as heavy as I can according to 8 to 12. Set 12. We're going a little bit heavier now. Pushing bum back. And you can see on the way down, guys, I've got the dumbbells nice and close to my body. They actually come closer to my body on the way down. And I'm not also thrusting in on the way up. I stop about here and I come back down for more tension. Everything's about breathing. If you want controlled reps, you need to control your breathing, which at the end of that set, I've just been huffing and puffing. I would have stopped in a couple reps in. Whew. Bro, I had the shakes in that one. As soon as you were like, yes, I was like, yeah, he sees my activation right now. I felt my glutes just like, this is the best thing about unilateral training. You can really push the intensity for both sides. And I love my unilateral training because all of us athletes, we got imbalances, especially bikini girls because we're standing on like that one leg. So you got to make sure you're balanced, because I was just talking to one of my friends who's also an athlete the other day. She was talking about how when she poses out and does her back pose, she has to like bend one knee over the other knee a little bit more. And she does this certain twist as well. Basically for both legs, she treats separately when she does her back pose to make it look like it's even from the back due to the imbalance. Now it's exactly the same as me. One, I always stand on my left leg when I'm doing my front pose. That's what my body's used to for the last 10 years. I've been on my left leg. And another thing is also I've torn my hip on this left leg. So I then started compensating because I was using my right a lot. So that in result, when I was doing my back pose, one glute was actually sitting a little bit lower than the other, but not because one was super undeveloped. It's also how I was like aligning my hips, because I had been so used to laying off this leg. I was putting a lot more tension onto this one when I would do my back pose and not realizing that I was taking load off here. So when I'm doing my back pose, I actually twist, physically feel like I'm doing this, but it's actually aligned, because naturally when I stand, there is a slight imbalance. So you wouldn't notice it like this, but if you get into your poses, and when I get into my back pose, it's so obvious. So now I do like this little twist, and then I check the imbalances until I see it aligned. So until my hips are aligned, that's when I know. But a lot of people don't realize that sometimes it's not just the so unilateral training is one thing, but another thing is also checking and playing around with your poses to bring the balance in. With my back pose, like I said, like I treat one side different over the other to make it look balanced from the back. So that's a good tip and trick for you guys when it comes to your poses, guys. Always play around with your posing so then you can make sure that you hit everything in your criteria. All right, so we're gonna level up in our weight now. It's gonna be the last set. We're probably gonna go. All right, I might use my wrist wraps for this one because this is kind of heavy. All right, guys, we got the wrist wraps on for the last set. Another good thing about wrist wraps is like it protects your nails. I love having my nails when I'm like just every day, to be honest. So it can be a little bit risky when you don't have wraps for training. All right, one leg back. We're gonna start with the right. We're gonna push back. On the way up, guys, I'm also squeezing my glute. I'm keeping that tension on the way down, full stretch. If you feel shakes on the way down and the way up, you're doing it right. All right, let's rest between. Whew. Oh yeah. It was just with the music. I don't think you hear the song, but it was just, it went well. So what I noticed in my check-in this morning, new low this morning, by the way. Woohoo! Hamstrings are coming through a lot more. You're starting to see more of my glute hemi tie-in. And then even when I did like my front pose, like my shoulder was coming out a lot more. Waist is definitely coming in. Waist is one of my, I'll say, plus points to my body because it really complements like my taper. So once my waist starts coming in and my face starts coming down, that's when I know I'm like deficit be deficiting, you know? But calories at the moment, guys, I am roughly on 1,600 a day right now. No refeeds or anything. We don't have any special high days or low days. I'm just on the 1,600. Fats are still fairly high. Carbs are still pretty moderate. Protein, I'm on 135 right now. So I'm feeling pretty satisfied. Like I said, like the last time I was this amount of weeks out, I was on much lower calories. I was on so much more cardio. But right now, like every day I'm stepping on that scale because I'm checking my daily fluctuations and I'm just trending down really well. I'm feeling good. Knock on wood. Where's the freaking wood? I need to knock on something. Like, where's the wood? Oh my God, I'm gonna jinx my friend right now. We gotta knock wood. You remind me, I gotta knock wood. But anyways, knock on wood. We have been trending down really well. And guys, you know that like all year last year it was a bunch of yo-yoing with my diet, my training, and I'm just glad this time we're just like, you know, week by week. When my rash happened, I was like, hell no, this ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna keep going because a lot of things stopped me last year and I'm not letting that happen this time around. I'm gonna promise you guys we're gonna make it to that stage because I need to show you guys the new and improved. I just showed Mario like my routine. I'm excited to show you guys, but you only find out on show day. Only Mario gets to see my routine because it's gonna stay between us, but we're gonna release a video right after my first show. You guys can see like my full routine and my bikini and everything. I won't even tell you my bikini color or anything yet, but Shane is coming back. All right, so we're gonna do the other side. Whew. So. All right, put this back. All right, let's take these wrist straps off. You know, when I take these off, it's like taking a bra off. Literally, it's like that feels like, ah, that just feels so good. Yeah, except on your chest, it's like worse. Like I'm wearing a sports bra today. I can't wait till I get home. I'm just gonna like, but I needed it for the tuck-in, guys. I cannot wear an oversized tee without doing my tuck-in. All right, so the reason why we do this is to emphasize the booty. I remember like when I first started doing this, people were like, why are you just tucking it in? Like just wearing a long sleeve shirt, why don't you just wear like a little top? I'm like, no, because the whole point is to accentuate that. So when I do like my leg days or my booty days, I show off my booty the most. If I do my upper body days, then I show off my upper body the most, and I'm kind of more decent down here. So that's a trick to emphasize your muscle that you want to show. All right, so we're gonna move on and we're gonna do some hip thrusters, and then we're gonna focus on that knee valgus that we had in that collaboration video. And this time around, we're actually gonna go for the 8 to 12 reps, and then we're gonna hold at the top for a good 2 seconds, okay? It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt really bad. All right, so now we are in the hip thruster, and what I'm going to bring in now from this day onward is the knee valgus on the way down. So that's where my knees are pretty much being controlled and pushed in on the way down to increase that stretch, but you're also increasing the activation that you get in your glute. But yeah, on the way out, I'm gonna drive up and push my knees outwards Guys, if you follow those 2 cues, so on the way down, like I mentioned, controlled knee valgus on the way in. So it's basically gonna be this, all right? So I'm gonna have my toes slightly pointed outwards. When I come down, it's gonna be controlled. I'm gonna push the knees in like this, controlled, okay? So we're not knee knocking, we're slightly pushing in and we're pulling down. And then when I push out, I'm gonna push, okay? So again, controlled knee valgus, push when we come up. All right, so we're gonna do exactly that. Now, in the collaboration video that I did, this is what we brought in. And I'm telling you guys, this is a game changer. I already like how I hip thrust, it's already good. But if you can increase stretch and feel more activation, get a better muscle-mind connection, mind-muscle connection, sorry, then even better, right? But my pumps were insane after that. And also another thing is we weren't lifting as heavy as we normally did. And I didn't do nowhere near the amount of volume that I normally do. So we're gonna bring it back. My goal is to progressively overload from here. I don't think I'm gonna start off with my normal way. I'm gonna go less. So this is just the starting weight for now. Got my upper shoulders in the pads. Now feet, I actually brought back in my last session, which helped a lot. Toes are slightly gonna be pointed out. Okay, so that's gonna help with the abduction on the way up. Now we're gonna push up, hip extension, you guys remember that? Knee valgus. I'm gonna turn my toes out just a little bit. Remember holding for 2 seconds at the top. Oh God, it's burning, bro. When you have your toes slightly pointing out, sorry, and you're doing knee valgus, you could feel that stretch even more. So you'll feel the difference first, because some people hip thrust like this, and it's different for every person depending on your legs and what your natural hip extension is. Some people have it here, okay, and maybe naturally that's where they have knee valgus, right? But if you point it out and then knee valgus on the way down, you actually feel that force happening, and that increases the stretch even more. So something as little as those cues there are gonna make a huge difference. And honestly, guys, like when you really understand the different parts of the glutes, which we're gonna actually bring in a session, talk about the parts of the glutes and how I've really increased in my muscle mass in the last years, because I understand each part that I'm hitting now. When you know which parts of the glutes you're hitting, you'll know how to increase and progressively overload. But when you don't know enough, sometimes you just think, okay, glutes are glutes. Glutes are not just glutes. There are different parts of your glutes. And you could always make it more better and bigger. You could be a big baddie booty girl. I was gonna say bish, but you know, gotta keep it PG. All right, I'm gonna add an extra plate now. I'm gonna go 25. That was messed up. Can I have my shaker, please? I don't want it. For some reason, guys, oh my God, it's just doing it. It's like dripping, look at that. I don't even know. This whole session I've been drinking like this. Oh yeah, when I do that, nothing comes out, of course. So I got my amino acids in there. Today we are drinking the strawberry lemonade. Well, it's getting hot in Vegas right now. I like the strawberry lemonade flavor, and I did put ice in here. And now it's kind of like room temperature, so that's how hot it's been lately. But it's been nice getting a little bit of the warm weather. It's been helping me get up earlier too. So lately I've been getting up at 5 a.m. every morning. I've been in bed by 9 p.m. Sleep has been a huge thing for me. When I did get that allergic reaction, I do believe that there's a combination of things. when you are allergic to something, sometimes it could be a timing thing. I believe that my immune system was low for that moment. I did not get enough sleep. I remember for a little, I think it was like a few days, I wasn't having my meal timings right. I had a lot of hunger periods in between. I was just like stressing my body out altogether. And then one day my body just like decided to react. So now I've been timing everything like perfect, making sure I'm sleeping, well, in bed by 9. Sometimes I'll toss and turn a little bit until 10. I avoid my phone. That's one of the main things because you need the mind to relax. So I will not touch my phone by 9 p.m. That's going to be put aside. I do have a work phone and my own personal phone. So the work phone I actually put aside because I'm that type of person, because I do work from home. I have trouble switching off, you know? So now I promise myself switch off at 9 o'clock. Personal stuff can be just after, and then I put my phone down and I just don't look at it and I just like doze right off. So ever since I've been doing that, I've been getting 7-8 hours sleep. That's nearly impossible when it comes to you being in deep prep. When you get deeper into prep, your body does start getting more stress. You are on less carbs, you're on less calories altogether. Your energy is being used so much to the point where your body actually can't recover properly, and then your sleep starts suffering a little bit. So right now I'm really trying to put myself into better habits, so closer to show I stay with those habits. I think I've found my sweet spot for when I go to bed and then how I wind down and then I wake up in the morning. I have my alarm, but another thing is I've also learned not to snooze so much, because I used to snooze like once or twice. When you get into the habit of snoozing, you snooze and snooze even more, to the point where the first alarm doesn't even freaking matter. You know, so now I'm like, that first alarm that goes off in the morning matters, and I feel so tired that I've done something wrong the day before. So now I'm just like so uniformed with my time. Get up at 5 a.m., get my cardio done, get my steps done, go back home, shower, have breakfast, work, and then feel myself to go into my weight session. And ever since I've had consistency, like I said, it's only been 3 weeks, I've already dropped 2.5 kilos, which is, it's a decent amount, but it's also an all right amount for the start of prep. But when your body is reacting that well that soon, and like I mentioned earlier, like I'm on higher calories right now and I'm already dropping the way that I have been, my body's in a good rhythm right now. So pay attention to all your areas, guys. Sometimes it could be as simple as your sleep, your water, your digestion, your timing of everything, how you actually discipline yourself throughout every single day. It makes a huge difference. So yeah, right now we're feeling pretty good. We're progressive overloading in our sessions. If you guys go right back to like my first videos on here, I wasn't using these plates as like a freaking second set. Like this was like this didn't even exist actually. I was on 5 plates when I first started, I remember. That was super heavy. Now I'm like, okay, this one's okay. I'm challenged with knee valgus. It's something that's new that I've really brought in. I'm also a type of person that like, I will say I'm quite educated, but even if you are educated, you could still learn more and more, which is why even if I know a lot of things work for me, I don't just stop there. If I could get more education and make things even better, I'm gonna apply that. So I have no shame in taking more advice as I go onto this. I already know that a lot of my stuff works. I'm very confident with my training, my nutrition, my coaching, being an athlete, but you could always be better. As this sport and this industry is evolving, everyone is getting better and better and better. And I'm very competitive, so I'm gonna make sure I bring the best of the best out of myself, and anything that's going to help enhance my progression. That sounded so wrong. You know what I mean. Anything that's going to help me grow as an athlete, as a person, my education, I'm gonna take that on board. But I'm also someone that I feel like I've educated myself enough now to know the difference between bullshit and actual education. When someone's telling me something, if they can't back that up and they're just stating facts and facts, I don't believe a word that they say unless they can back that up. And I also understand what that backup means, because there's a lot of things on here on social media now where coaches come on board, like people will compete once or twice and they think they know everything about bodybuilding. I've been in this industry for 11 years now, and I will still say that I am still learning every single day. And those are the people that actually have the knowledge and continue to keep growing, because they're not scared to say they know every single thing. No one does. So, you know, there's sometimes, I was just talking to Mario before, like people had trends like a few years ago, and now there's so many studies coming out that like a lot of false information was put out there, you know? That's why it's so important that like if you're about to educate people, like you should try it for yourself and know to back that up before you start stating your facts on here. We are very repetitive with the moves that I do here. And Even if I'm really glad like the audience is growing too, right? And if you go back in all my videos, like a lot of my movements are very similar. And I told Mario before, you could do the same workouts all year round, okay? Because some people think that you gotta keep changing and changing. Where you really wanna make progression is like your progressive overloading, your sets, your reps, your tempos, how heavy you go on certain days, how moderate you go on certain days, how well you treat your recovery. And if you keep doing that in cycles throughout the year, you could make so much progression over changing your workouts all the time. Because it's not just about shocking your body with a new workout. It's about teaching your body how to grow more and be under tension and then recover after that. So there you go. I just stated so much stuff over there, but I thought I would get into it just because we are in the industry now where there's a lot of coaches and educators out there, and I see stuff, and as I've grown in this industry, I'm like, that's so wrong. And people are like following all these trends, and just because it's a trend, guys, doesn't mean it actually works. You need to know things for the long term. You need to know what you're doing to your body. You should also test things out before stating facts. Like I said, need dogs. You're okay, fuck. I gotta stop there. Seriously, it's like, it's made hip thrusters so much more. I was already double plating, bro. Mario's been witnessing my hip thrusters week by week, and I've taken it back the weight. But, okay, this is another thing I really want to point out. Just because you're not PRing every single session or every week does not mean you're not progressing, okay? Recovery changes depending on how you've been recovering for the week. Your intensity is gonna change depending on how your week goes, especially if your routine changes up time to time. With those, like, so I've got the flexibility of working from home, and I try my best for my day-to-day to be exactly the same. But there are times I'm gonna book some appointments there, book some appointments here. Then I just change things around for the week. And sometimes I end up being so on the go that I kind of have to fit like my cardio, my session at different times. So my recovery is going to change up a little bit. The timing of my meals sometimes change up a little bit. Therefore, recovery is going to change up a little bit. So when I go back in the following week and it's all like my usual routine, I already expect that my recovery is going to suffer a bit and the intensity is going to change up by the time I come back into these sessions. Now, one of the things is when you have been introduced to a new cue or a new movement, it's only natural that you're gonna take it back in weight. But that does not mean you're not gonna push your body at its full potential for that. I'm feeling so much more from doing this than when I was double plating. So I know that I'm gonna keep enhancing my glutes regardless of taking the weight back. You could do a double plate on one day and get less from that workout than doing it properly with proper tempo, lighter weight, and like actually taking your glutes through the stretch. You could get better out of a session like that than double plating. So like I mentioned in so many of my videos, it does not impress me if you're stacking so much weight on a hip thruster if you're not doing it right. And I see this all the time. I see people like no tension on the way down, squeezing on the way up, and I'm like, you literally did like a 20 to 30% activation in that move. So there, guys, I'm telling you, that was 100%. I'm done with this. Let's move on. We're gonna go to squats now. All right, we are gonna get into our, I'll call it sumo, but when it comes to sumo, you don't have to be out here because otherwise my reps are gonna be like this. I'm gonna actually go beyond shoulder width, my usual. You guys have seen this in my other videos. Pushing knees out, and I'm gonna come back this way. So we're gonna be aligned like this rather than here or here or here. Coming back this way. Here, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna come down, pulling it back, and then squeezing on the way up. And I'm gonna stop about there as well. And we're gonna keep tension that whole way. And then booty pump. All right, let's get into it. All right, so I got my feet slightly forward, beyond shoulder width apart, toes pointing outwards so my knees follow. And I'm gonna sit back into this like this. So sitting back, my knees are not going over my feet. And up. So again, pushing back. And I'm squeezing on the way up. But you can see as I squeeze up, I don't come all the way up. I come about there and I come back down again. Every time I come down, I'm sitting back, pushing knees out. Oh, fuck, that burns. All glutes, guys, all glutes there. Pumps are insane today. Holy moly. Good lordy. Last set now, guys. I'm so excited to finish this. It's been a day. All right, knees out. Actually, I need a little bit wider. There you go. Knees out, bum back. You can see my knees aren't going over my feet. Squeeze glutes. I'm done. I'm so done. If you do all these 3 movements, guys, you'll see that's all you need. Now, what I do, like when I'm doing my squats, you guys can see it's very slow and controlled. And this is why I'm out of breath at the moment. I'm very good with my breathing control when I'm doing like compound movements, all movements to be honest. Which is why you see me in every rep that I do. You will never see a rushed rep. I will not rush rep unless it's like to the point where I'm like, okay, I've done so many reps and I'm just like, that last one's like kind of like a semi-fail. But for a majority of it, I'll say 95% of the time, all my reps are very controlled, and that has a lot to do with my breathing. You build stability in your workouts if you hold your breath in the stretching part of your movement. So on the way down, I took my deep breath at the top. I held my breath on the way down, held it on the way up for that explosion, let go at the top, inhaled again, held my breath on the way down, still held it, pushed it on the way up, let it go. Does that make it very tiring? Absolutely. I go out of breath, which is why I needed the rest periods when I was doing my unilateral training too. It really does take it out of your breath. However, you will have very promising reps if you do it that way. You need to take your body through proper tension when you are doing your workouts. Otherwise, you're gonna make it pointless if you're literally just doing fast reps all the time. There's a time and place for like quicker tempo, right? Like a burner, like you guys have seen me do that in a lot of like my finish off sets, where I like do a quick 10-10 tempo up and down, or lateral raises, whatever, with lighter weight. But that's after I've done the bigger movements and the controlled reps, just to kind of finish things off, you know? But yeah, throughout like majority of a set, especially when you're in growth, time under tension, making sure you're taking that load properly really makes a difference. So again, today we did our little warm up with the band, just to get into our unilateral stiff-legged deadlifts, and we use the dumbbells today. Don't forget your wrist wraps. Doing one leg at a time is gonna help you with those imbalances, but it's important to understand your mind-muscle connection, which is why I do highly recommend warming up beforehand so you understand what kind of tensions it feel. When I did my stiff-legged deadlift, again, I pushed my knee out when I got down to the bottom, which brought my glutes right into it, and it was burning. I hope we got the shakes on there, because Mario noticed that I was like activating so hard, and he's noticed you know, my progression in these last few months too. And then we moved on to our hip thrusters, we've now brought in the knee valgus, which helps a lot when it comes to the stretch, and then abduction on the way out, and really squeezing at the top for the 2 seconds, and then coming back down again, controlled. So when I did the hip thruster, held my breath, got to the top, came to the bottom, held my breath, came to the top, and then let go and breathe again. That's generally how I do all my reps. And then we finished off with the sumo squats. So eliminating quad as much as possible. I pushed my bum right back. I had my feet slightly forward. And I didn't allow my knee to come over and past my foot. It literally stayed in line the whole time. And I sat back as if I'm sitting back on a chair, almost as if you're doing a stiff-legged deadlift, but then you're sitting back on that chair. That's how I could describe it, but you're gumming downwards rather than pushing upwards. And then that wraps it up. I don't think I can do any other sets after this. Like 3 movements are very powerful for as long as you do everything properly. But I am so happy to be back in action, guys. We got a really good booty pump. Check it out, check it out. Good booty pump. I feel like the green really enhanced the white, you know what I'm saying? But I'm so glad to be back, and thank you guys again so much for the support, the new followers and subscribers on here. I'm really happy. We gained quite a bit in the last couple of days, you know? So yeah, and I was just like, damn, like, you know, once we hit that 1K, I'm gonna celebrate because we have been just pushing as per normal. As you guys know, like when I come onto this channel, I'm very raw. There's no like, what you see on here is exactly what you're gonna get in person, okay? I'm just being me. I'm taking you guys through my day-to-day, or my week-to-week and what I do. And I really wanted to bring you guys into my prep so a lot of people can see the reality of prep as well, which we won't just do workouts all the time. We will start bringing more things on here too. But I appreciate your support so much, guys. Thank you so much for following me on this workout today. Until next time.